When Square Enix revealed Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, I was not excited. The memories of the car crash that was Marvel Avengers Endgame was fresh in the memories of the gaming community, and the idea of playing only as Peter Star-Lord Quill, arguably the least interesting of the Guardians, did nothing for me personally. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is developed by Eidos Montral, the team that brought you Deus Ex, Thief and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, so despite the misgivings, there was a hope that the studio with a solid CV could deliver. Not following the movie or comic book timelines, these are not the same Guardians of the Galaxy from those universes. These Guardians and their journey are a bespoke creation of developer Eidos Montral. Though they do lean heavily on the movie personas and lore of the comic books, they were given freedom on where to take each character. So, does Guardians of the Galaxy leap into action and save the day, or do they faceplant like the Avengers before them? Let's find out by getting lost in the world of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
What's going... Oh, Flark.
They can go anywhere, convert anyone.
Eidos Montral delivered on the spectacle of the franchise spectacularly, flexing the muscle of both the Marvel license and the music licenses obtained, boasting sensationally good voice acting, a stellar 80s soundtrack and a variety of big cinematic moments. Though to be honest, it needs to be stressed, these are mostly, almost always in cutscenes, and a beautiful variety of planets to explore. There is a huddle mechanic in the game where you will fill up a bar and you can give a team talk to your team to power them up a bit. This in turn plays a random song from Peter's Walkman, often to hilarious effect. Following one of my many huddles, the Wham! Wake Me Up Before You Go-Go song started playing and I just started laughing, cracking up as I destroyed enemies to one of the best 80s songs, in my opinion. If that doesn't make you smile, then nothing will, and you should probably not get this game whatsoever. Every planet or area you explore pays serious respect to its comic book counterpart, and if you have always wondered what some of the more random or distant planets in the Marvel universe look like, wonder no more, as they are brought to life in some style. Every setting in the game is fantastic and feels like a movie experience. I will touch more on the voice acting and music further on in the review because there are key parts of the overall experience that do tie into some of the other parts of the game, but you cannot fault Eidos Montral for doing justice to the source material.
Most well-known heroes you could hire, but definitely in the top 5 of most awesome names. Contributing members. Groot, a Flora Colossus, last of his kind, fearless in a firefight, an awesome best friend. Rocket, bona fide super genius and a wizard with explosives. Definitely not a raccoon. Gamora, adopted daughter of Thanos, deadliest woman in the galaxy. Need we say more? Drax the Destroyer, convicted serial murderer and galactic war hero, often grumpy. Last and definitely least, Peter Jason Quill.
That's it? That's all you wrote?
It was a character limitation.
Playing as half-human, smart-ass Peter Quill helps keep the experience, well, human. The story truly surprised me in Guardians of the Galaxy. I was not expecting this level of delicacy to the sad themes, so much emotion on the delivery of key story points, or just the sheer amount of expression that Eidos Montral got out of the facial expressions of the Guardians.
I still don't know how... How does anyone... Am I just supposed to smash cakes all day?
Breaking stuff is pretty cathartic. There's other ways.
What are you doing?
It's a nerd thing my mom taught me. The idea is that you light something to remember someone, to pay tribute. I mean, it's not magic or anything. It doesn't bring anyone back, but...
And more than all of that, I just wasn't expecting to laugh so goddamn much. This is one truly side-splittingly hilarious game. Bravo to the writers and the voice actors for coming together to deliver something truly funny. Drax is the star of the show. His deadpan serious musings on anything and everything will leave you in stitches. In fact, in one segment of the game where he isn't actually there with the squad, the game suffers in a big way. The story in Guardians of the Galaxy is strong, really strong, and the humour is even stronger. The back and forth between members of the team as they explore, shoot, and even delve into their past never fails to elicit at least a smile, or maybe even sometimes a tear, if not a full-on lol. Backed by a fantastic soundtrack and the aforementioned style of voice acting, you end up with a great cinematic experience. Not surprising considering the movie and the comic books. You want to get to the end because you genuinely want to see what happens with Peter. Rocket's constant complaining does get a little bit annoying at times, but with Drax balancing out with so many hilarious quips, you just manage to tune it out, to be honest. Also, big shout out to the last minute joke in the ending. It just kind of summarizes the whole theme of Guardians of the Galaxy. It had me lolling hard and just summed up how Eidos Montral really got it bang on with the theme of the game.
Technically, it was we who drew first. Come on, we can work this out. Oh, I'm working it out. Right in their faces. This dazed fool will no longer sully the Nova Corps!
Had to be done!
I will end you!
Before I delve into the analysis of the gameplay in Guardians of the Galaxy, I need to really briefly explain how the combat works. Basically, you control, for the most part, Peter. If you're not a big Marvel fan, you might need to be told that Peter Quill has no special powers per se outside of using his rocket boots and his blasters, which he gets from his dad. Now, all the Guardians can be called into action and their skills are on a universal cooldown per character, and this is where things begin to go a bit wrong. The issue with the above system is twofold. Peter doesn't have the most interesting skills, and when his teammates are on cooldown, there's not really a lot to the game. It's a lot of blasting your gun, keeping hold of R2, using the Gears of War reload mechanic, and more shooting. As soon as the skills come off cooldown, you do a lot of the time the same combo, because when you're off cooldown, you're going to use the best skill set to get rid of the quite bullet spongy enemies, because you really don't want to go back to just holding down R2 again for the next minute while the Guardians come off cooldown. This ends up with the gameplay really beginning to drag, because quite honestly, there's just not a huge amount to it, with only one boss fight that is fun with raid-like mechanics. Why wasn't there more of these, by the way? And a lot of rooms with just wave after wave of enemies. It just begins to be a bit of a slog. Also, whoever decided to give some enemies 2 health bars must really have been having a shit day, because these fights drag on long enough as it is without another health bar being added on. As mentioned previously, every so often you can trigger a big super called a huddle. Again, very cute, but it gets familiar, especially if you've done it like 100 times. It still works because of the music and the fact that it reduces cooldown, so that does mitigate some of the cooldown issues, but it's on a long cooldown timer, that in itself, and it's not something that you're regularly going to call upon. Later, you do get elemental infusions on your gun, which do different things: freeze, stun, pyrodots, gravitational pull. It's a combat system built for exploration, but it doesn't always hold up. For large parts, it does feel like a big trudge through quicksand. If Eidos Montral had halved the cooldowns and maybe given Peter a few more unique skills that don't contradict his place in the lore of the Marvel Universe, it just would have been a more fun minute-to-minute combat experience. Now, there have been some criticisms of the game being linear. Me personally, I have no issues with the game being linear if it delivers a compelling story, which is exactly what happens here. But it also needs to deliver a great gameplay experience if it's going to be linear as well. The core storyline follows a set path, but you have a fair amount of freedom in how you handle situations and respond to the team.
Very well.
It's okay, he'll land on his feet. I guess that only applies to cats.
You sons of dogs! Scut-busting ass! I am not familiar with these words. Filthy grunt scum, but
I think he's making them up. He's really pissed.
You can rot, you free-bagging flarkholes!
At least he's not shooting at us. He missed on purpose, right?
Order the beast to do its job.
Rocket, come on, man!
Cram it, dash.
Events kind of play out with minor deviations, but it's more than enough to make you feel part of the decision-making process, even if maybe your decisions don't really have a huge impact on the game. So I won't criticize it for the linear path. Not every game has to have lots of filler side missions and branching paths and all that. It's okay just to deliver a story and intriguing gameplay. Sadly, Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't quite get the intriguing gameplay side of things, which is a real shame. I was often torn by Guardians of the Galaxy while playing it. In one instance, I was completely into the story and the team and laughing, and in another moment, I was just hoping no more enemies would spawn so I could carry on with the story.
awesome.
How much you get out of Guardians of the Galaxy will depend on how much of an MCU fan you are. Now me, I watch the movies and that's about it. So as a baseline, you should get out of it what I got out of it. A great story with a ton of laugh out loud moments that truly does justice to the MCU and the Guardians of the Galaxy. As a cinematic experience, it's great. As a video game, it has flaws. Guardians of the Galaxy gets carried quite a lot by personality, and that's definitely going to make it a divisive game. It puts a premium on character and storytelling with really impressive results. A top-notch story that sets the bar really, really high for anything else Square Enix or the Marvel license will produce in the future. However, the more you play, the more the gameplay does begin to feel repetitive. Coordinating attacks of the other Guardians is fun and seamless when it's off cooldown, but it does make me wish for more or a slightly better system, especially when things are on cooldown as they often are. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is a bit rough around the gameplay edges, but it's so fun to be a part of and the journey is beautiful. It's well written, it's funny, and it's exciting. It's one of the tougher games to score recently because on one hand, my heart is telling me to give it a higher score, on the other hand, my head is telling me I have to be fair. In a video game, the gameplay is the key component, and I do weight more towards gameplay when I review a game. So for me, Guardians of the Galaxy gets a strong 7 from me. If you're a huge Marvel Universe fan, you're going to get a lot more mileage out of this and you can bump that score up a bit. It's a good game and a great experience, but we review video games here and gameplay will always be the most important part of a video game. I just feel to give it an 8, the gameplay needs to be more engaging and enjoyable on the whole. Anyway, that's my review of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Did you enjoy watching me play it? Did you enjoy playing it yourself if you've got the game? How did you feel about the best video game stand-up of the year? Hit me up with your thoughts on the game and the review, and please share this review with people so we can grow. We're almost at 10k subs, so the more people we get on board, the better it is for me, quite simply. No worries, take care, peace out, and thank you for watching.